So I was saying, here comes Amber. See, look at that. I'm going to mute everybody for now. Okay. So I was telling Sierra before everybody came in, she was early, that midterm grades are due to the dean's office and to the registrar this Friday. So if you haven't, I don't know if I'm going to try to get your papers graded, but you want to make sure that you don't have any zeros or any back assignments that you haven't turned in, because that will affect your grade. So right now, I'm as current as I can possibly be. If you turned in part A of the planner, I looked at that already, gave you feedback. Those people that turned in their sources for the next paper, I've looked at that as well and given you feedback. So the only big assignment still, some people have turned in their PowerPoint for the ethos, pathos, and logos. Not everyone's is in, but I'd like to get those in too so I can get that graded. And of course, the summary response paper, which is due. And I will try to get, as quickly as possible, get that turned around and graded, since we seem to have lost a couple people. And I kind of told a couple people that they need to withdraw from the class at this point. And why do I say that they have to withdraw is because we were instructed that anybody who missed class before the break, and a number of classes absences, and who didn't turn in work before the break, that's not because of the virus and computer issues. That's because they just aren't doing the work. And so we've been told to tell them directly that they need to withdraw. So, you can kind of figure out who's not been coming for quite a while. Those people that have always turned in their work, just because they're not here in the class today, that doesn't count as absence, because on all the online classes, your attendance is counted by if you're submitting work. So you don't have to be on at the same time as the instructor. As long as you're submitting work on time, that counts as attendance. So if any of you have financial aid, it's no longer, we don't have to turn in an attendance book. We used to have to turn in our attendance book. Every time you missed a class, we had to mark it down. And if you missed so much of a percentage, that counted against you. We don't have to do that now. So all of you are fine. Most of you are fine because you are attending and you're up to date. But being here and not turning in assignments is also bad. So, please do turn in your assignments. I am going to change the late policy as effective on the date that we started back. Instead of doing the 1 week, up to 1 week late at 75%, up to 2 weeks late at 60%, and after that's a zero, it's now just going to be the first 3 days is 10% off. After that, it's 75%. And you have until the end of the semester to turn it in. But there's a couple rules that I want everybody to understand. And I'm going to put this in writing so people can see it. You can only submit one assignment at a time. So you can't turn in the personal essay, the summary response essay, and the PowerPoint or whatever, okay? It still has to be submitted in the order in which they were assigned. And you can only submit one assignment at a time. This will give you a little bit more flexibility. I'm trying to help everybody as much as possible be successful and not kill myself, because ultimately what's going to happen is, I've used to do this in the past, there will be people who wait until the last week of class, and on Monday they submit an assignment, Tuesday they submit an assignment, Wednesday they submit an assignment, Thursday they submit an assignment, and I'm grading like an idiot all week. And I don't tend to like that. What I will do is, if that's the case, I will not give you feedback. I'm going to slap a grade on it. I'll read it. I'll mark it up a little bit, but I'm just going to put a grade on. Do you have 75%? If it looks like it would have been higher than a 75, I'm going to give you a 75. If it really doesn't meet standard and it's below the word count, then you get the grade that you earned. All right. So that should give you a little bit more flexibility. Not that you should need it or take advantage of it, but it's just, I think it'll help because we're all over the place. We're all over the place. We have kids, we can only work at certain times. And I want to, try to keep that in mind and help. And I'm doing that for all my classes. It's not just for you guys. My online classes, I'm going to change the policy for everybody. So I'm going to unmute you for now. Does anybody have any questions of how that works? And I will put it in writing.
I thought the summaries, the planner summary was due on Monday.
The final version, yes. Not the summary planner, that's your critical response planner. So we got the summary response, that's the paper that's due today.
Okay, I handed that in, right? Okay.
Yeah, you did. And we are working on the critical response paper.
Right.
They all have stupid names. It's the summary response, the critical response, and the critical analysis, which is
right. So what is due on Monday? The final?
No. On Monday, the final
Part 1?
planner. Part 1 and Part 2 of the planner. The whole planner is due on Monday.
Okay. Okay.
So I
So,
actually have it.
sorry, what part of the planner due today?
Let me show you.
I think Part A was due today, right?
Part A was due today, yes.
Okay, I didn't fucking submit it.
All right, so we'll look at this together. That way all the people that are following the video, they see. Okay, so ethos, pathos, and logos.
Wait, I'm seeing your email contacts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Took that down real quick.
That's my those are all my colleagues. Let me
I'd be looking at that.
Oh no, okay, I see. I was on the wrong one. I want this one. Now it works. Okay. All right, so due today was the skills assessment, the supplemental source, some of you already did that, and part of the planner. And some of you did that.
I was confused because I looked in a different area and it just said the first 2 were due. I didn't know that the planner was due today.
Only part of it.
Okay.
Okay. Were you weren't here the other day, were you? Yeah, you were.
Yesterday? I mean Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here Monday.
Okay. So always, when in doubt, look at this calendar here. All right. So, someone's coming. Hold on. Trying to.
So I could still hand that in today then?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm literally trying to do it now and I can't.
Yeah. With the new policy, it's not really late because it's going to be today.
Okay.
As long as I get it before 11:59, it's on time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's go back to this. So you're going to be finalizing the planner, which is due then on Monday. So the rest of the planner is due on Monday. And I'll look at the planner and show you what I mean by that. But, those of you that did it, you know what you're doing. So Monday, the only thing that is due is the final planner. That's it.
Section B, right?
Yep, section B. So let's look at that. So this was the planner. So section A, the introductory sentence, the audience, the purpose, and the author's worldview. That was due today, along with the summary. This is the summary section. That's all you needed to do for today. So if you haven't done that, get that in. That way, if you've already turned it in, I've already given you feedback. I did it early this morning, looked at everybody's, wrote on your papers, gave you feedback. Basically, Monday, then you want to go through the rest of this. So you're looking for evidence. What does the author say that you either agree or disagree with? Give me some direct quotes. You don't need to put direct quotes in the paper, but for now, pull out the information from the article and you put that in these boxes. Do you agree or disagree? So it could be agree, agree, disagree. It can be all agree, it can be all disagree, whatever you want. Or 50-50, if Amber wants to add an extra box, you can do 50-50. Otherwise, according to my math, it would be 67% to 33. But I'm an English teacher, not a math teacher. What does the second source say? So this is the first, and remember, you're using a second source to either support you or to support the author. Obviously, if you are agreeing with the author, the second source also has to agree with the author. If you are disagreeing with the author, the second source should support you. So the second source would be disagreeing and going against what the author says. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a little bit tricky. If you disagree with the author, you're looking for that second source to disagree. Okay? And then just give a little bit of your explanation in here. This basically sets up the paper for you. This would be paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, and of course your summary is in the introduction. So the top part of that is basically paragraph 1 with the introduction and the summary. And then lastly, you have your conclusion.
I think I like this planner the best.
You like this?
I did pull my hair out last night trying to do this planner.
Oh, you don't like this one?
No. I said I do. I think I like this one the best because I didn't pull my hair out trying to do it.
You didn't pull your hair out. I understood you pulled your hair out.
The other ones, I always just got so frustrated.
Yeah,
This one, I was like, oh.
This is mine. This is not the one that they use in the course. And I decided to come up a little bit of my own. And certainly these boxes are all mine. So I know people hate outlines and things like that. So I figured this would be a little bit more practical and a little bit easier. And you can basically write your paper from it. All right. So everything, the whole planner, if you've turned it in, I didn't grade it yet. I gave you feedback. If you had like an error in it, you can fix it and just submit a brand new planner. That is the one that I'll grade. All right, so whatever you submit on Monday, that's the graded one. The rough draft of part A and part B, I'm giving you feedback on it. All you have to do is fix it. You can't go wrong here, really. Like you can go wrong on purpose, you can go wrong on the summary, but you can't really go wrong here. So basically, you should have 100 on this paper, on this assignment, because I'm correcting all this for you, and you're just adding that. So it's a give me grade, really.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad someone is happy about that. And Amber's happy about it.
Thanks.
All right. Are we good with the planner then?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. That's all that's due on Monday, really. If you haven't read chapter 6, read chapter 6.
Is there a study guide for that?
There is a study guide for chapter 6. Yes. The study guide it'll be under unit 4, and you have access. I made it open so you could get to it. Unit 4 and go down to critical thinking. And there's the PowerPoints and the study guides. So chapter 6, chapter 7 study guides are there. So I've opened everything. I've opened the whole course so that, I don't know, if you needed to look ahead, you can look ahead and see what's coming, right? So it's no longer, it's not a secret.
So the planner and the study guide are due Monday.
Yes. So the study guide's pretty much optional, but it really will help you for the quiz. I don't check those, but I know most of you are doing them diligently and take a note. So if you kind of plan yourself out that you have chapter 6 and the study guide done, yeah, you're in good shape. We'll go over chapter 6 on Monday.
When's our next test?
Oh, not for a while. Don't
Okay.
rush, girlfriend.
No, I'm just wondering. Okay.
All right. Well,
No.
the next
Now
test.
for you. There's a quiz.
Yeah, so they're quizzes. They're not really tests. So it's going to
I'm
be
sorry.
basically in week 9.
Okay, week 9. Okay.
Week 9. So yeah, 2 more weeks. But again, that date is fluid. So as long as you take it before the end of the semester, that's good. I don't have to grade that. It's graded automatically. So the final deadline for the quiz is May 2nd, which is the last day to turn in. No, 4/29. But if you take it on
Shut
4/29,
your mouth. Seriously? Is that the last day of class?
yep,
That's my son's birthday.
4 days. I mean, 4 weeks. That's it. This will go.
I guess that's a
faster.
good birthday present. Ooh.
Why would that be a good birthday present for him that you're done? Because you can give him more time?
No, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Even though I'm going to be taking classes.
So if for some reason you're not going to make the 29th, you need to contact me, but that's pretty much the last day that we're taking stuff because I have to get everything graded and turned around within like 4 days. May 2nd is when I have to turn in grades. All right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's look at, I'm going to find this. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about bias. Let me, if you all can just mute yourselves for now. And again, if you have questions, just pipe in. If you're alone, then you don't have to mute yourself. Like my dog is not making, he's snoring, but.
My dogs are still sleeping, so.
Yeah, my dog will sleep the whole darn day. The last time we talked about those terms, and I do want to go over bias a little bit because you have to start thinking about how do I recognize if an author is biased? I can tell you one thing, every author is biased. It really doesn't matter what they're writing about. Even if it's informative and they're presenting 2 sides, they're still biased, okay? It's just the nature. They have a reason for writing the article. That alone means it's biased, right? So use an example that you are tired of people breaking the curfew and going out and shopping or coming to the beach. and don't go to the beach because they actually have police cars set up down, turning what people away. If you have an out-of-state license, they stop you and ticket you, but you're all Delaware. So, but if you were tired of that, you're going to write an article. You know, you'll write an article for the paper and saying, you know, all the reasons why people should be staying home and not going out. Well, you're biased because that is the reason why you've decided to write this article. And so, yes, the slant is going to be pretty much one-sided, even though you can also say, but there are reasons why one should be able to leave their house, you know, if you need to take care of somebody. Okay, but there's no reason why people need to come to the beach and walk the boardwalk. So remember, when we're biased, we're judging arguments without looking fairly at the reasoning. So the reason doesn't matter, you ignore that. You don't look at the reasons at all. And you don't look at the evidence. You believe what you believe, and that goes against critical thinking in what way?
Open-mindedness.
Very good, yeah. If you're not open-minded, if you're not flexible, you're only thinking your way, you're not going to look at the reasoning and listen to the evidence. Very good. That makes me happy. Some of these things are actually sticking, which is good. And Amber, I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
All right, so when we're looking at writing, there's really 5 questions you need to ask. So you can kind of use this almost as a checklist. So when you're looking at the next paper and you're trying to figure out, okay, how is the author biased? Ask yourselves these questions. Who is the writer and what are his credentials? If someone is a scientist writing about climate change, would you think the person's going to be for or against climate change?
4.
Obviously for, because they're a scientist, right? So knowing that the person's credentials will kind of help you a little bit in thinking, oh, what's his bias? Oops. What event happened to prompt the author to write? And that was just like I said, you're watching all the outer towners come to the beach, and you get a little miffed, and you decide to write an op-ed for the paper. All right, that was the event that prompted you to write. People are writing about all the things you should do now to protect yourself in the pandemics. What's the event that prompted it? Obviously, the coronavirus, the pandemic. Where was the text published? If something is published in Mad Magazine, probably not going to take it as seriously as if it were published in Newsweek or Time. What kind of articles would you find in People magazine?
Entertainment, gossipy.
Yeah, gossipy and entertainment. So, like, you know, you're not going to find research in a lot of research articles in that type of magazine.
Only about how you can get your man back.
If you really want your man back,
I was
right?
about to say, why would you?
If you've gotten rid of them the first time, keep them away.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Oh,
Don't
God.
recycle. Don't
Where's
recycle.
Pickling would agree with this. Okay. There it is. Try to figure out who the text is intended for. Who would read People magazine generally?
Wishful thinkers.
Maybe. Maybe. Who else tends to read People magazine?
Oh, girls.
Women. Now, that doesn't mean every woman does, and doesn't mean guys don't either, but yes. Housewives, people with a little time on their hands, because it's just, I'm going to say, mindless entertainment. But it does keep you up on who's married to who and who got divorced from who, and how many times they cheated on this person, etc. And lastly, what is the purpose? What was the purpose? If something is in the New England Journal of Medicine, what is most likely the purpose of that article?
Wouldn't the purpose and what prompted the article kind of the same?
Not really. So let me give you an example where it's different. How would an article about the coronavirus look differently if it were published in Time magazine versus, People magazine versus the New England Journal of Medicine?
Well, I guess we wouldn't be doing this if it were in People magazine. No one would take it seriously.
Maybe, but what would the reading level be also?
Very low.
Very low, like what the average is, what, third grade, sixth grade?
Yeah, well, yeah, probably eighth. But
Okay.
it would be lower. It would be more simplistic. It might be more of, let's see our back end. It might be more of, what did this star do to contract, or a personal story about somebody who contracted the disease, right?
Okay.
I don't call it, I mean, it's entertainment. Not that you should be like, oh, thank God, Brad Pitt got coronavirus. And I don't know if he did, but he didn't. That's not what I mean by entertainment. But, it's not earth-shattering news. If it's in the New England Journal of Medicine, we're still writing about the coronavirus, right? But what would their take be? What would the purpose of that be?
To inform you, it would be more serious.
It would definitely be informed, because the audience is going to be different.
Yeah.
The people who read the New England Journal of Medicine are mostly doctors and scientists. So it's going to be very scientific-y, a lot more complicated, not for the common person. Might be talking about different types of possible cures, vaccines, not necessarily what the common person would want to read about. Yeah, I want to know that Tom Hanks and his wife are safe. That's important to me. But I don't really care what the molecular structure of the actual virus looks like. Okay? So the event is the same, but the purpose is different because the audience is different. Does that make sense now, Donna?
It does.
Okay. Does that make sense to all of you?
And these are 5 questions to determine bias, questions that we should ask.
Yes. So this will help you figure out what the author's bias is. Yep. Okay. So the last term, which we did talk about last class a little bit, was loaded language. And what was the definition again of loaded language?
Emotive.
Not emotive, but loaded.
Oh,
When a writer uses word choice in an attempt to persuade the reader without evidence or argumentation.
An attempt to persuade.
Excuse me, sorry.
An attempt to persuade someone without using evidence. Correct. Just using the words to tell you that it's bad or good.
So if an author gives So when you're talking about evidence, does it have to be concrete fact or something that's been researched and studied versus just an opinion or an example?
That's a good question
opinion.
because it doesn't have to be concrete. It can be what we don't know, and this is where the critical thinking comes in place. We got to then ask ourselves, is the evidence accurate? So they might give you a fact and statistic. That doesn't mean it was real, you know? So how would you verify that?
Doing your research.
You're gonna have
Yep, you got to do a little bit more research and kind of look it up and see if you can find it. So they say if you can like Google it and find that statistic somewhere else, then it's probably going to be true. Yeah. But you have to be careful because I could say, well, I have an article, I can't pull up right now, but I have an article that talks about the correlation between ice cream and heart attacks. And that there is a very good correlation. So when the amount of ice cream increases, ice cream eating increases, the amount of heart attacks also increase.
really? Wow. Never heard that.
Now think about this though. There is a logical explanation. It's not what you're thinking. It's not that ice cream itself causes a heart attack. When do people eat ice cream?
Winter.
Summertime.
Mostly in
People are-
summer. And then
You know what? I'm thinking of depressed people and they like ice cream in their couch.
I
I
can't
eat ice cream year-round.
I agree. I eat ice cream year round too. But ice cream sales generally pick up in summer when it's hot, you know. Okay. So why would summer be the time that there would be more heart attacks?
It's hotter.
Heat,
Heat, maybe. Why else?
more active.
Yeah, people are a lot more active in summer than they are in winter. You know, winter we're
Right.
kind of couch potatoes and in a blanket and eat our ice cream in front of the television. In the summer, you're doing all these activities. You're cutting the grass. If you don't have a riding lawnmower and have a push lawnmower, that's how my father actually died. He cut the lawn, sat down, had a heart attack, and that was the end of him. So people are more active. So the statistic is true, but if you think of the logic, it's not. Okay, ice cream doesn't cause heart attacks, but you can turn that statistic around and say, no, you don't want to have ice cream. Let's say you sell yogurt, and you want to then show that yogurt doesn't do this, but ice cream, when people have ice cream, they have more heart attacks. It is a real fact, but the logic and the correlation is wrong. Okay.
So.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
No, I was just, so like with this paper, the article we just used, by experiences, not things, I guess then I'm wondering, well, I guess there was, it studies, it's a lot of research on it. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, he does use research. But again, the research, look, the worldview for this and the bias is going to be kind of very closely tied together, right?
Almost the same.
Just about the same, it is. Okay? Because his worldview obviously affects his bias. And how he views what your worldview is going to affect how you view everything.
Okay.
So yes, if you're thinking, wait a minute, that's almost the same as worldview. There's a link between the two. You're right.
Okay. All right.
Got it?
Yes.
All right. So let me show Amber question.
No.
Okay. Okay, so I have a little video here. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So you're gonna have to listen really closely to this, but there's some loaded language in this commercial. See if you can figure out what words are used that are loaded. Now it's a commercial, which means what are they trying to do? What's the purpose?
Get you to
Convince
buy
you
whatever.
to go with their product.
Right. So they're selling something. So they're trying to persuade you. So if we're talking about office purpose, we're talking about, in this case, persuade. And so they're not going to give you a lot of facts and statistics in a commercial because they got to be really quick. So they're going to do it through language. So just listen really carefully, see if you can pick up the examples of the loaded language.
I'm your GPS. Turn right up ahead. You never update me, so now I just have to wing it. I meant turn left up ahead. Recalculating. Turn right now! Your cut rate insurance may not pay for all this, so get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem. Like me. Recalculating.
Mayhem is everywhere. So get an Allstate agent. Are you in good hands?
We've probably all seen these commercials. Stop.
I'm your GPS.
Anybody pick out some? There's two good examples of loaded language in this.
Cut rate insurance.
Very good. Cut rate insurance. What does cut rate imply?
The
It's
insurance.
cheaper than what, you know.
It's crappy. Yeah, it's terrible. It's cheap. Cheap in the sense of not necessarily inexpensive, but not good insurance. Very good. What else? It's at the very end, actually.
I couldn't hear the exact sentence, but I heard the word mayhem.
Yeah, that's it. That's the loaded language. So we have cut rate and we have mayhem. Mayhem, what's another word for mayhem?
I'm thinking-
Disaster.
That's wrong. Chaos?
Amber Graham is on a roll today. Yes, chaos. You got it. So, jeez. You must have ate your Wheaties this morning. Then you're not even having Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I know. I don't know how, because I got like 4 hours of sleep.
Oh, you are on it today.
I woke up and was like, time to make coffee.
All right. So let me just double check, but I think that's really all I wanted to cover today. So this is a short class. But we don't need to beat a dead dog silly. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? So really you want to complete the planner. I would use the rest of the day, if you can, if you have anything that you owe me, get caught up on. All right. Things are going to start after next week. I'm going to talk about the last paper, and then it's pretty much going to, that's it. Like once you get this paper turned in, we only have one more paper. It's a little bit more complicated than this one, but you have enough time to work on it. So, you know, your workload has now, you've gotten all the skills assessments done. You basically have almost all the papers done except the last one, and you only just have really a quiz. So you should start feeling a little bit less pressure in terms of, you know, the work. And it was just a little bit more pressure because this was an 11-week course. So that's why things are compacted a little bit. And of course, then we lost the week, but I think we're in pretty good shape right now. So if there are no questions, I would say have a great weekend. I will stay on. I'm going to turn off the video. I'll stay on. So if you need to come back and you want to talk about your planner, talk about the articles, talk about anything, I will be here. I'm not going to go to the office. I'll stay here. It's just easier.
I have questions about my planner.
Of course you do.
I haven't seen mine yet, so.
Okay, so yeah, have a look at what you turned in, what I gave you back, and then if you have questions, Donna, just pop one back in.
Okay, will do.
Amber, you good?
I'm good. I need to go and turn mine into you right now.
Okay, and Sierra, you know what you're doing. I know we already talked.
Yeah.
Okay, and Alicia, you're good?
Good.
All right, then Shonda, you just stay on here, and if anybody needs to come back, you'll be in the waiting room. So till I'm done with Shonda, just kind of hang out there, and I'll let you in when I'm done with Shonda. That way, it's a one-on-one conversation. I'm going to turn off the recording now. Have a great weekend.